Smartphone designs have coalesced in the last few years. Screens got taller and skinnier, and a majority of devices are comprised of a metal frame squished between two panes of glass. The story continues when you set the OnePlus 6 next to a Galaxy S9 Plus. Not only do they have the same type of construction, but also very similar finishes. These are glossy and shiny bodies that attract attention and fingerprints alike. They've both even went with the same type of vertical arrangement for their cameras and fingerprint sensors, though the OnePlus 6 is a tad easier to use because it's physically separated from the camera grouping. The phones are near identical in shape, size and weight, due to their small bezels wrapping around screens that are almost the same size. The 19:9 aspect ratio 6.3-inch display on the OnePlus 6 is barely larger and taller than the 18.5:9 ratio 6.2-inch on the Galaxy S9 Plus, that is to say you'd never notice the size difference. The body curves make them both a bit slippery without a case, but that's the cost of beauty. The Galaxy S9 Plus is a tad narrower, but in daily use you wouldn't notice. Both phones have a typical array of buttons on the side, and all of the ports collect at the bottom, including a headphone jack on both phones. Internally, the similarities continue. Both phones are powered by a Snapdragon 845 processor, aside from GS9 Plus models with a similar Exynos, 6GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. In either case you can pay to option up 128GB or 256GB of storage, but OnePlus also gives you 8GB of RAM in those higher storage models, though you'd be hard-pressed to find a need for it. The OnePlus 6 has a slightly smaller battery at 3300 mAh to the GS9 Plus's 3500 mAh, but the history of OnePlus battery life indicates longevity will be the same or better than the full day without much left we've experienced with Samsung's phone. What's different? So when the base of the hardware, specs and features is the same, where does Samsung differentiate to justify its higher price? Well, in the details. On the hardware side, Samsung offers IP68 water resistance, which gives you true peace of mind in knowing it can get wet without issue. Its glass back also hides dual-mode wireless charging for those who enjoy the convenience. There are dual speakers available, and its fast charge wire charging system, while slower than dash charge, is cross-compatible with every quick charge charger as well as USB-C power delivery. Then we have to address the big difference that stares you in the face, that display notch. I can easily argue that the OnePlus 6's notch isn't bothersome and simply lets you get a little more display without making the phone larger, but the simple fact is the Galaxy S9 Plus doesn't have one and you don't have to deal with it. All else being equal, not having a notch is preferable. And further on the display front, the GS9 Plus just has a downright better panel. Its brightness and clarity are unmatched by any Android phone, making it better than the still very good OLED panel on the OnePlus 6. It's also higher resolution, if you're into that sort of thing. The only area on the front where the OnePlus wins is that its display is flat and not curved. Yes, this is a bit like the complaints about display notches, but many people don't care for the Galaxy S9 Plus's curved screen edges because they make the phone tougher to operate in one hand. Just like the notch discussion, this may not be an issue for you, but no matter what camp you land in, you'll never have to think about a curved display on the OnePlus 6. Which should you buy? Choosing which phone is right for you really should start with the discussion of price. The OnePlus 6 starts at $529, which is dramatically cheaper than the base Galaxy S9's at $839. Even the top-end OnePlus 6 with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage is $629, still $210 less than the base Galaxy S9 Plus. But what if you're willing to spend the extra money, but don't want to if it's not actually worth it? A whole lot of the experience is shared between these two phones. The hardware is great on either one, as is the performance, specs and core features. They're also nearly identical in size, both in display area and overall. For the extra money, the Galaxy S9 Plus offers a better display, without a notch, a proven great camera experience, and extra hardware features like wireless charging, and we can't entirely discount the value of its more recognizable brand. That being said, the OnePlus 6 has a cleaner software experience that's simpler to use and isn't as susceptible to long-term problems, and, as previously noted, the entire package is dramatically less expensive. If your budget for a phone is only about $600, it's tough to imagine that you'd all of a sudden decide to spend an additional $250 beyond that to get a Galaxy S9 Plus, and the few improvements it offers over the OnePlus 6 don't really justify that price increase if you're at all price sensitive. But if the extra money doesn't mean much to you, the Galaxy S9 Plus does indeed offer a better overall experience provided you're enticed by the extra features rather than the simplicity of the OnePlus software. But no matter your budget, you'd be doing yourself a disservice to not consider the OnePlus 6 in any case. It has a whole lot going for it as a complete package at any price.